Alright lads, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be talking a bit about controller versus keyboard and mouse. You know, it's a very big topic. Very big topic, especially in 2021, season 5 right now. The meta is getting even more intense after they added that new shotgun a few weeks back. So things are a bit loose right now, so I want to bring some light to a dark situation. That's what this video is about. Hopefully all of you watching are having a great day. This is the only call to action I'm going to make in this video, so if you want to hit that sub button at any time, in the bottom right of the video there's going to be my logo. You can tap that and sub. That's all I'm going to say, and let's get into the video. I want to let everybody watching know that this video is not going to be biased, because the reason I think you might think it's biased, because in the bottom right you can see under my weapon slots that I actually play keyboard and mouse. But I want to let everyone know that I used to play controller for literally my whole life up until the last 8 months. So at heart I'm a controller guy, but for Fortnite I'm keyboard and mouse, just for that extra performance advantages and stuff like that. But you know, I personally think there's an advantage with keyboard and mouse, so it is kind of biased, you know. But I'm going to come on a level head, because there's benefits from both sides of the story. You know, there's benefits for being on controller, aim assist. There's benefits for being on keyboard and mouse, like editing and stuff. But I'm going to get into it now real quick, and we're going to go in depth. So look, one can be better than the other, just depending on your playstyle. I will list some pros of both, like pros, no cons. We don't look at cons over here. There's no need to look at cons. We're gonna look at pros from both sides, like not pro players as in pros, as in benefits from playing on a controller and benefits from playing on a keyboard. So on a controller, you've obviously got that 360 movement. Now you can see the list on screen, okay? You see what that 360 movement is? This is the list of pros from a controller, right? So you got your 360 movement, meaning, you know, the joystick. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this, that you've got the joystick, so that's a benefit. You can move really fluently on controller, so your movement is going to be better, which makes you harder to hit and easier to do side jumps and basic maneuvers when building and editing. You've got less buttons to worry about pressing, which, trust me, is a very big positive of controller. That was the hardest thing when I swapped to keyboard and mouse, was actually getting all them buttons down. So look, trust me, I'm pressing like what, 15 to 20 buttons easily. Controller, you've way less, you know, it's way easier to manage. You've got easier building. You know, you don't have to press like whatever button, like you press L2. Yeah, obviously if you're playing on Builder Pro or like your custom binds, you're gonna have like L2 ramp or 2 wall, and then the cone and the floor and the bumpers, as far as I remember. So when you press that, it builds. We have to like press a bind to take our actual like wall out, and then we have to place it, you know, with the mouse click. So it's harder to build on keyboard and mouse. But once you get it down, it's easy though. It's real easy. But personally, I think it's better and easier to build with keyboard or build with controller. It actually is easier to edit with your builds out on a controller, believe it or not, because it's pretty simple. Like I remember being able to do it pretty easy. It was the first thing I learned that was very important to my game, and it really put me ahead of my time back in the day when you could edit with your build menu out, because it was so much faster, because you can reach further, so you can like reach really hard edits and double edit really quickly. Everyone knows that now, I'm pretty sure, but if not, you know, have a look around the channel. Go onto the channel page. There's a lot of informational videos like this, even better than this one. This one isn't really information. This is just spreading light to both sides of the spectrum, you know, on both players, because there's a lot of people that are debating on swapping from either keyboard and mouse to controller or controller to keyboard and mouse. So I'm just trying to give them information to help their decision. And then obviously the last benefit of playing controller is aim assist. You don't really have to aim train a lot on controller. You just gotta aim assist, you know, and because you have such a small range of motion, it's very easy to swap between sensitivities on controller, because you have such a small range of motion. Obviously that makes you a bit more inaccurate, because you don't have a lot of space, as in with a mouse you have a lot of space, so it's easier to be very precise. But with controller, it's very easy to learn the muscle memory and get it down, because there's not a lot of surface area you have to work with to learn. So trust me, it's easier to learn muscle memory, and you've got aim assist to help you. And I'm not saying like there's controller players that have amazing aim that keyboard players will never be able to compete with, but then again, that's just a one-off player. There's also a lot of keyboard players that have insane aim that no controller is ever going to compete with. Like it depends. Basically on controller you can have really great aim, but if you put the work in on keyboard, very unlikely that a controller player is going to have better aim than you. That's just being honest and keeping it real. That's what I've noticed in my journey. Main reason I swapped was because I had the time, so I was like, might as well learn and put the effort in. So yeah, now I'll do the same thing, read out a list of pros for a keyboard. So same type of list again. And we got keyboard, we got 8 directional movement. This can be looked at as a benefit or a disadvantage. Some people see it as a benefit for some reason. I don't know why. I don't think a lot of people do see it as a pro, but it's definitely 8 directional movement. Basically, by the way, means forward, backwards, left, right, and the diagonals in between. You can go 8 different directions. Whereas if a controller, if you were to look at it, is more of a clock movement. Like you can go 1 o'clock, you can move 2 o'clock, you can move 2:30, 4:30, you know, whatever time zone you work with. Like you can literally do a clock movement. But with keyboard, it's like forward, backwards, left, right, and then the diagonals. So it's not exactly fluid. And you can obviously use double movement binds to fix that and get them down. But then again, you're piling on more disadvantages because you have more buttons to press. So that's personally why I don't use double movement binds, and they don't really look like they help me that much. No, it's not worth it to me anyway. I know pros might argue with me. A pro's opinion probably is way more valuable than mine, but I just don't really feel the benefit with them, and I've tried them. It's not like I couldn't press them or anything, it's just I actually didn't see a difference in my movement. Then you've got your large aiming range of motion, so you're going to have better aim because you've such a large range of motion. The lower your sensitivity as well, the better your aim will be. To a certain point, when it's like too low and you're trying to track a player in your grill and you're like dislocating your shoulder blade trying to aim around your mouse mat, then there's a problem. But for the most part, when you go really low like me, like my sensitivity used to be half mongrel sense. I think it's around bugger's sense, a bit higher. So it's still pretty low because, believe it or not, bugger's sensitivity is lower than mongrel's now, which is hard to believe. Mongrel for me, when I always used to play this game, was like the lowest. He was the slowest sensitivity player and the most precise and fastest editor somehow. But apparently Bugger is on a lower sense than him now. Just a quick fact, I guess. We have scroll wheel reset. The demon, the controller player's demon. It's kryptonite. You guys hate us when we have scroll wheel reset. Like, we don't even have to go into our build menu. Literally just scroll a wheel. No build menu, no edit menu. Just scroll and we're editing and we're done. Like, it's so overpowered. Probably the most overpowered thing in the game that literally they cannot patch. I don't think there's a way for them to patch it unless they don't let us put edit binds on our mouse, which I don't see how they're meant to do that. But look, very overpowered, and no one's competing with that. That's the most overpowered thing. Main reason I swapped, honestly, and my aim alongside that. It's easier for us to swap weapons. See, a lot of things, like, it's down to the small things. Keyboard players can do a lot of small things. Like, I remember saying for the controller player earlier, it was easier for him to build, but I wasn't really thinking about saying, like, for us, we press a wall button. That's it, we pull out a wall. On keyboard or on controller, you guys have to press like a build menu button to swap modes from your weapons and go into build menu, and then you can place. Obviously, we don't have that, so if we're getting sprayed at, it's way easier for us to build and not take as much damage. So I obviously wasn't thinking about that, but now I am. So we have an advantage in building as well, but you guys do also have an advantage of it being easier to build once you're in that build menu. Oh, now back to what I was saying, easier to swap weapons, you know, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, we swap weapons between them, or whatever bind you have, but for the most part it's that. And then that's really it. Like, there's a lot more pros with input delay and stuff like that if you're playing PC, but that applies for controller too. I can keep talking, but I feel like I've covered everything. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm just trying to shine light on the situation that we're in right now, whether it is controller meta or keyboard meta. Like, it's really not a decision at this point. The game is so heavily competitive that it's not really a decision to either play controller or keyboard. It's literally, if it's meta, swap to it. Like, that's what happened a while back. A lot of people were getting pissed because aim assist was so strong back when the drum gun meta, when this map first came out with Midas and stuff. Before, I think they nerfed it in the season that I stopped playing, which was a water season. When they introduced the charge, they nerfed aim assist, and my both trio teammates were both controller players, so they got a real nerf. They're still better than me to this day, but that's not the reason why I quit. It's just, you know, the game was just getting shit for me. I wasn't enjoying it, but now I'm back on my grind and I can't see myself going anywhere. I'm here, we're going to win a tournament. That's the goal. The goal is to improve as a community and win a tournament. That's all I want to do, is win a tournament, or win money from a tournament. Just not for the money, just for the pride to say I won that shit, you know, because I'm not really good at that else anyway. So gaming is my niche. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll run the outro. Any suggestions, leave them in the comment section. If you want to have a conversation with me, ask me a few questions on problems you're having with the game, leave them in the comment section. I'm gonna be down there. If you made it to this far in the video, you're a legend, and you should probably subscribe, because I'll probably help you with something in the future anyway, with a video, you know. I'm going to be doing a little It's Jerry in mode over here, kind of. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video.